Everybody experiences extreme stress at some point in their life. I don't care who we are. Something happens outside our control and it hits our life and it knocks us on our tail. It might be a health stress. It could be something with your family. It could be economic, career. It could be something emotional that happens, biochemical. There's so many things. It could be an environmental situation that had nothing to do with you. Every one of us in our lifetime are experiencing extreme stress. And these days, because of the economy and the way we respond to it, the majority of people are experiencing some form of extreme stress, at least according to polls. Stress doesn't come from the facts. Stress comes from the meaning that we give the facts. Yes, those things have happened, but the real question is, if we fight what's happened, we got a problem. We got to decide, what are we going to do with what's happened in our life? How are we going to take this? How are we going to mold this? How are we going to turn our life around? Because when you come up with a new meaning, you get a new life. So what are we going to do in this session? Well, in this session, we're going to take a look at something from a different perspective. We're going to ask you this question. You take massive action. When you take massive action, you really believe in something, you get great results. When you get great results, your brain goes, see, I told you I was a stud. I told you this thing would work out. Now you're even stronger. You tap more potential, take greater action, greater results. That's how you went from $300 in a week to $2,500 in 5 days to $100,000 in a month to $1 million in a day. Same thing with you.
Powerful. Many times we don't even realize we're being strongly influenced because it generally develops over an extended period of time. Peer pressure is an especially powerful form of influence because it is so subtle. If you're around people who spend all they make, chances are excellent that you'll spend all you make. If you're around people who go to more ball games than concerts, chances are excellent that you'll do the same. If you're around people who don't read many books, chances are excellent you won't read many books. People around us can keep nudging us off course a little at a time until finally, 10 years from now, we find ourselves asking, how did I get here? Those subtle influences need to be studied carefully if we really want our lives to turn out the way we've planned.
Now, this is my thing about fear. Anyone who's dealing with fear, whether it's rejections, whether it's insecurities, whether it's getting your dream off the ground, or whether it's taking it the final, 10 yards, to the end zone, fear has this way of being this constant throughout the journey, and failures many times add on to that fear, and failures we project in our head intensify those fears. So this is a insight and exercise I'll use for anybody who's trying to not only overcome their fears, but wants to cherish them in a way where they're no longer an enemy, but maybe a friend. And the exercise is called dating your fears. It's sort of the opposite of what a lot of other people think about when it comes to fears. A lot of people talk about pushing through your fears, conquering your fears. I advise you to do the opposite. Take your fears on a romantic date once a week. And I mean this quite literally. Look at your calendar and carve out maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, once a week, either lunch or dinner, and it's got to be consistent. And once a week, let's say it's Wednesday nights. Every Wednesday night, what you're going to do is you're going to take the time to have a nice dinner. Right now, because of coronavirus, maybe it's at home, maybe it's on a balcony, maybe it's at a park, and, make yourself a nice bowl of pasta, maybe pour yourself a glass of wine, really make it silly if you want, get some chocolate strawberries, make it very romantic. And the idea here is to take your fears on dates. And just like a date, the first day, might be pretty surface level as you're getting to know them. And what you're going to do is while you're having dinner is you're going to take your journal out and you're going to ask your fears questions. Where are they from? Where do they come from? How have they, grown throughout their lives? And what you're going to do is you're going to do this 1 week as a first date, and then you're going to do it the next week a second date, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, and a sixth. And what you start realizing is it's almost like The Bachelor, where you're going to have like 13, 14, 15, maybe 20 different fears lined up in front of you. And as the dating process unravels, just like in real life, what you'll begin to realize is there are deeper causes, deeper origins, and as you become more intimate with your fears, as opposed to beating them up, as opposed to stuffing them in the closet, as you become more intimate with your fears, you begin to appreciate them, you begin to have compassion for yourself, and that then gives the window of opportunity for you to cherish them. So your fears don't necessarily disappear, but you become so intimate with them that they no longer have a hold on you. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself. Jonathan, I'm wishing you the best of luck, man.
It's hard. That living alone is just very difficult. And once we begin to come to grips with the fact that living is difficult, life is very challenging. I heard a song once by a guy named Dimples called, "If It Ain't One Thing, It's Another." You will never ever have a problem-free moment in life. There's always something. So how do we begin to nurture that hunger? What are the characteristics or the qualities of people that are hungry? What will it take for me to get some of the things that I want? And being hungry for those things, number one, you've got to work on yourself. It's very important that you engage in an ongoing process to develop you. Spend more time on yourself than what you've been spending. It's very important. You owe that to yourself. I was reading a book by Og Mandino called The University of Success. Read one line, gave me a chill. I didn't have to read anything else in the book. He said, many of us never realize our greatness because we become sidetracked by secondary activity. We spread ourselves too thin, don't know how to say no. And we find ourselves doing all kinds of things and never ever have time to do those things that we need to do to work on ourselves. And then there goes a second, there goes another second, there goes another second, and we can't stop and hold time. And before you know it, you wake up one day and you're behind on your dreams and your bills. So decide that you're going to take some time to work on you, that you deserve that.
Have to execute. Everybody's got ideas, you know, that's the easy part. But customer, sale, customer happy, yes or no? Sale, customer happy, yes or no, right? Sale, because everything just feeds that, right? Everything else is noise. And part of that though, so there is a part B to that, right? Because one tenet of good business is always listen to your customers, right? You always want to listen, but you don't always want to do what they tell you, right? Because the customer's job is to make their company successful, right? And when they tell you what they need and when they tell you what they want, they're typically thinking about the right here and now. They're not thinking about your potential competitors. They're not thinking about the future of your organization. So you have to also innovate and you have to differentiate. So you have to be out here innovating, differentiating, understanding, you know, how you fit within your industry and how you can get ahead. But then you have to turn that into sales, customers, customer happiness. And so if you can execute on those things, things typically work out well. It's not, well, my office is pretty. My office always looks like crap, right? I mean, our offices now, we have these Vera desks everywhere. I'm not, you know, you don't have to look the part. I mean, I certainly never have, right? You don't have to sound the part. You just have to find a way to put your customers in a position to succeed and good things happen.